Woohoo! All right. All right. We're about to get started. Good. Want to reload that page to see if it's somehow. And live. Fish. Lavish. Give it a couple minutes. Yay. Yep. Turn that. Yeah. Good idea.
Or you get to read the questions for us.
Yeah, or you can read the questions for us.
I will.
That's why I got the computer. Time warp. 1 minute. That's weird. I know.
I told you guys it's going to be a little bit of a delay.
No problem.
Which is perfectly fine. I'm just not going to look at the delay and push down to the comments so I can see all the comments that are coming in.
Sure. And don't forget that it's actually recording this so that people can watch it on YouTube later. Awesome.
Well, it's 8 o'clock.
Is it really? All right. It is 8 p.m. Eastern. Welcome, everybody.
Because we can, Robbie. Because we can.
We have 3/4 of Studio Cosplay here to answer questions, take suggestions, feedback, whatever you guys could come up with for the next hour. For those who have not met us before.
Hi, I'm Daria. I'm creative director for Studio Cosplay. I've been doing this for 20 plus years, sewing, cosplaying, making props, and everything. And this over here is...
I'm Stephanie Hackenberg. I'm the board secretary and the Kickstarter project manager. I've been cosplaying for about 17-ish years, and I'm really passionate about this. I'm really excited to get this off the ground, and I don't know, I can't wait to bring everybody together.
Well, I'm Liz. I'm the president of Studio Cosplay. I've been cosplaying 5 going on 6 years now. I'm just really, really excited about this project and getting all of your questions today. We really wanted to do this event because we've gotten so many people ask like specific things from the FAQs. So I'm really excited today.
Great.
Awesomeness.
Well, we
got 2 already. So one from Charles in the comments. It says, what kind of materials will be available for use in the makerspace as opposed to what will be using the space need to bring? Will there be an option to purchase commonly used materials here? Thanks. So, ladies, Daria, take that one.
All right, sure, I'll take that one. So, at the bare minimum, we will have all of your equipment. So the bigger items, like the sewing machines and like the 3D printers and all those things. That's at the bare minimum. If we have enough funds raised or if people donate anything, we are more than happy to share everything that is donated with the community. We're kind of hoping that we're going to have a section where any of the leftover pieces that you have from a project, so extra thread you may not need, extra pieces of fabric you may not need, like the rest of the glue bottle that you may not be using anymore, that you can just donate to the community, and then anyone in the community can use those scraps and those little bit of extra that they need. So that's the first part of the question. The second part of the question was, are we going to have anything available on site? So we really hope so. We really do want to open up a little bit of a store and have some of the essential materials available there so you don't have to go outside, go to the store and buy these things. And maybe even try to stock some Warbler and maybe stock, you know, Foss Shape or any of those materials that you have to actually send out and get by mail. Yeah, so great question.
Awesome. So we had a second question or statement from Elliot saying, yeah, I think it'd be a cool thing if you guys could be a dealer for Worbla or other con-related materials. So it was kind of related to the first question.
That would be ideal.
Yes. So that's all in our comments section. And yeah, we don't have anything on that part yet. So let's go through our FAQs.
So let's go to the FAQ
All right.
because, well, they are F.
Yeah, and a lot of people, they'll send messages on the Kickstarter. If you go to the very bottom of the page, we have been reading all of your comments. So every time you guys have asked us something, we've created an FAQ to do our best to answer that one. So one of the big questions was, what are Studio Cosplay's membership tiers? So, pricing. Right now, the best way to get the cheapest membership is to purchase it on the Kickstarter. Where if you go to the website, there's a membership tab, or there will be a membership tab. But right now, the day pass for the membership will be $20. For 1 month, you get is for $50, and you get 10% discount on all classes. 6-month memberships is $200, and you get a 15% discount on all classes and discounted membership rates on photography studio rentals. And then because we have so many amazing photographers who are involved in the cosplay community, we're doing the photography studio. So we're offering a photography studio membership as well. And it'll be $25 an hour to use the space. And from the we put out this little survey out for a lot of photographers, and they had said the majority of the time their hourly rates would go up to $45 to $50. So we wanted to make sure that we had made it as affordable as possible from what they have been used to paying. And then our workshops. Workshop prices will vary depending on the subject matter and the instructors.
So of course, it's an economy scale. The bigger your subscription, the bigger your savings. So like a year has a much deeper discount than 6 months. 6 months is a much deeper discount than just a month at a time.
And I would like to point out that our day passes are very, very expensive because we really don't want you to get a day pass. We really want you to get that month pass, because if you pay for 2.5 days, you're already paying for the entire month. So if you're going to be there for at least 3 days in a month, you should be getting just a month pass. It makes it a lot easier for us. It makes it much easier coordination-wise. So we're really just trying to push it. So go for that month pass.
Yep.
Yes.
And I would also like to point out that we did a comparison of like the membership rates of some of the other cosplay places and maker spaces. And our rates are actually very, very cheap compared to some of the other maker spaces in the area. And we don't have any kind of like extra special tiers for like 3D printers or anything. If you have a membership to Studio Cosplay, you have a membership to everything. Now I know we had mentioned about the photography studio. So that's a little bit something separate. Those hourly rates, those are for a part of the day where you can only reserve that photography space, but outside of those specified hours, you can use that space however you want as long as you've got a membership to the space, not to the actual or just the photography area.
Right.
Right.
Cool. I think we covered that. Okay, so was there a question up there?
I think there is.
Because I don't see the one over here.
Younger
If you have a free weekend, will I be able to volunteer at the space? Absolutely.
We love that. We love it.
We love volunteers. We love getting all these things. This is basically for the community. We're gonna need people to help us teach like safety classes to make sure everyone knows how to use everything properly. We're gonna definitely need people to be on the floor when it opens to make sure everyone's kind of like doing good. There's no medical emergencies or anything else like that. If we do get to our goal of opening up a store, we're gonna need someone to watch the store, make sure that someone's there on site to do these things. We're always accepting volunteers for our tables at conventions.
Yeah.
What else?
We are always looking for volunteers, like for the panels. We love having people come in and record them and take photography. So if you're a photographer or a videographer and you're interested in, you know, coming in and volunteering for that panel, that hour, that 2-hour panel, we would, you know, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, and we need people with special skills as well. I mean, graphic design people, creative people. I mean, you name it. I mean, think for a moment about what would be required to develop a nonprofit organization, get the word out, have marketing materials, somebody who's going to be at the booth while we're at panels. I mean, you name it. We need an army of people, so don't be shy.
Yep. And I will let you guys know about the volunteer opportunities, where you can get them, where you can sign up, and why we've been so slow to respond to some of these things. So right now, we have a couple ways of how you can contact us if you're interested in these volunteer opportunities. One is there's a mailing list that's on our website. If you sign up for that mailing list, then anytime we have like those big opportunities for volunteering, that's where we would be posting them. You can also send us an email directly. If you've got certain skills that you want to utilize for the space, that would be fantastic. We read all those emails and we try to respond right away. We've received a few of those emails already with wonderful, wonderful people that we're just kind of keeping in the back pocket. Right now, we're super trying to push this Kickstarter, get the funding, get all these things put together.
Live and breathe this.
But as soon as we have that money that we can go in, find that space, we're going to need so many volunteers to set up that space and everything. And that's exactly when we're going to start reaching out to all of you guys that have volunteered to come make this place.
Yeah. And again, the email address, if you don't have it handy, is contact us at studiocosplay.org. Something else that we are always looking for people for is if you are the area expert on a particular technique or medium with costume making, prop making, etc., whatever it is that we can't teach, we want to bring in experts to teach classes. So if you would love to do that, contact us. We will definitely keep you on the list.
Awesome. So, Egan from Cosplay in America, I love you. So he's always been very helpful and always so sweet. And he's been tweeting us. So he had said y'all should do a community fabric swap once every 6 months, open to people to come in and swap. I think that's a great idea. You know, people come in. I know I have a lot of fabric in my little 580 square foot apartment that I won't be ever using again, but I would never throw away fabric to save my life. So I have crates of it, and I plan on donating a lot of it to the studio itself because I'm never going to use it.
But someone else might be able to use it, especially for anyone that's trying to learn sewing and they don't really care what fabric they use. They just want to learn the techniques.
Yeah.
So it's always, always good.
And we've gotten suggestions in the past from people who even suggested costume swaps. I mean, if you've cosplayed something and you don't think you're probably going to fit into it again or probably not going to wear it again, hey, come to a costume swap. Or you really want to cosplay something, but you're just not going to have time to make it. Hey, somebody might have what you're looking for.
So cool. So a lot of other questions we were getting on the Kickstarter, a lot of the comments and messages. Do you want to say one more?
Yeah, there's actually one more up here. It says,
sure.
What other stretch goals are there?
Oh, we have so many.
Well, our next one that we would love to announce right here and now, once we get past the $24,400 mark, we did mention that we want to add a professional airbrushing equipment to our painting station in the workshop. But if we get beyond that, we want to be able to add another 3D printer to our printing station. Not just one, but two, and hopefully, depending on how much funding we can raise, it'll be even more epic.
Yes.
Oh, and I will point out that the filament for the 3D printers, we will keep that stocked so people can buy that on the spot. So you don't have to worry about actually buying your own filament. We should have at least some stock of it at our studio.
Yeah. Great question.
Awesome.
Beyond that, if we get high enough, we have hopes of getting an embroidering machine, obviously the vacuum form machine, expanding our line of our sergers, expanding lines of how many paints we can offer, possibly certain glues that we can offer. What else?
And of course, the pie in the sky that we would really love is if we can raise enough funding to get a big enough space for storage so that you don't actually have to schlep all of your costume pieces back and forth while you're working on it. We would love to have on-site storage, but of course we need to have enough space to have that. So don't hesitate with the donations just because we're close to the end. Let's keep stretching for those goals.
Yeah, we have 67 hours left, so I mean, to fund and then reach as many stretch goals as possible is really our goal, because I think it's really important to have storage on site, because I take the metro and I don't want to take EVA foam and Warbler and armors on the metro. I would love to leave it there and just be like, okay, I'll get back to it.
So I hope that kind of answered that question. If you guys want more clarifications on anything,
just let us know.
Let us know.
Cool. Want to go FAQ?
Yeah. Next one.
All right, so the next one was a lot of people who, they don't live in the DC metro area, and they were like, well, how can, what kind of rewards are there that we can purchase that would benefit us? And really, why is, if I don't live there, how, and
what's in it for me?
Yeah. So it's two things. We have a lot of rewards that are for people who don't live in the area. I mean, we have the con goer, which is it includes a drawstring backpack and 3-in-1 vanity kit. It's basically a little cosplay kit for you. We have plushies. We have what is it? We have the leaping frog.
Yeah, we definitely want to spend some time tomorrow night talking about that reward. I'm honestly like, oh, I'm gonna go rob a bank so that I can get this reward. So
pretty cool.
Not only do you get to design your own weapon, name that weapon, and make that weapon, but it's going to be in a Frog Dice video game. They'll include it in there with the name that you choose, of course. Make sure it's appropriate.
True.
And I know on the official stuff that we have on the Kickstarter, it doesn't actually say that it's a weapon. It says it's a little prop, but it's a weapon. We're just not allowed to use that word on Kickstarter.
Yeah, Kickstarter is making a weapon on Kickstarter is kind of like it gets red flagged.
Well, of course. So,
but you can.
They don't understand cosplay.
Big weapon and have it in a video game. I mean, how awesome is that?
Yeah, and we're having another one of these tomorrow, and the people of Frog Dice, they will be joining us as well as Ashley from Ashley Images. She'll be joining us as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, other words, what we did have, I mean, it's all out, was Punish Props. He was amazing, and he donated 50 of his ebooks for his trilogy and additional foam armor.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. That was so sweet. Fortunately, those are all gone, but people kind of like grab those up pretty quickly. But
we have the plushies.
Yeah, the plushies. That is the biggest one right now. It's adorable. We had Lucky Squid Studios. They had designed us the plushie, and thank you for that too. We've had an amazing turnout of the community itself, just really supporting this. But also, if you're not in the area, this is something that our long term for Studio Cosplay is expanding. So,
and another popular reward that people have been really excited about is the Giver, where even if you don't live here, even if you do live here, you can donate a 1-month membership to a disadvantaged local youth. Now, in the background, we've been working with local charities to figure out how we can go ahead and make this a possibility, like work with the right group to bring in some youth so that they can make costumes, make props, artistically express themselves, have something wonderful to do after school. Mm-hmm. So we're very close to a partnership, and once we have it formalized, we'll be very much looking forward to announcing that.
It'll be a big announcement.
Yeah, it's like we just can't tell you now.
Yeah, it's all in the works.
It is in the works. I think we might even have another question.
All right, I've started getting into adding lighting to my props. Will there be electronic station, soldering station? Very good question. So right now at the base, that is not something that we have in our budget. However, that is a stretch goal, and we do have several people that have volunteered to be teachers to teach you any electronics you want. They're actually local to this area, and you can learn everything about L-wire, LEDs, Arduinos, like everything.
I mean, we will have a fabrication station, so for people who are soldering their tools and whatnot. So there will be an area for you to do that. But, I mean, we won't have the actual, like she said, the equipment.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we might have some of the equipment, but again, that's more in like the stretchables. So like soldering tools are actually pretty cool too if you want to like get designs into some of your armor pieces, like EVA foam armor pieces. So we may have soldering tools, but it's not in our budget. So unless someone donates it or unless we raise enough money, good luck.
Yeah. Yeah, but it would be something we definitely want to have. Great.
Cool beans. You good up there? All right, let me go to the next one. All right, so the next question is, let me say, what kind of tools, equipment are you budgeting? All right, so we've kind of been going over this one a little bit, but a lot of the questions we were getting was, what kind of tools, equipment are you budgeting to purchase in the cost maker space? So, I mean, we had talked, we are having a sewing station, fabrication station.
I think we want to go into what each one of those does.
Okay.
Yeah.
So sewing stations, that's going to be tables and chairs, obviously, because you need somewhere to sit and you need some place to work on, as well as the sewing machines. We are currently budgeting for 4 to start off with.
Yes.
We've also received numerous outreach from wonderful volunteers saying that they'd like to donate their own sewing machines. So hopefully we'll have a few more than just 4. One of our stretch goals is to try to have a cutting table, which actually someone has volunteered to donate an amazing,
huge cutting tables.
Yep.
They were originally used for making drapery and curtains, so you know that's for large swaths of fabric.
So we do have that already coming in.
Yeah, a dress form.
And
I'm
a dress
donating
form.
that.
Yeah, and we have at least 1 dress form that's being donated. So that's good for the sewing station. What's next?
Ventilation. Let's talk about the painting
station. So our painting station is going to be very, very basic in what we offer, unless you guys reach the first stretch goal and we get airbrushes, yay! But the major part of that station is that we will have proper ventilation. Not only are we going to have, you know, a ventilation that goes outside, we're also going to have masks on premises that you guys will be able to put on and you'll be able to use.
Yeah, like a respirator. And of course the standard, like, you know, variety of paintbrushes. We would hope that folks bring in, you know, whatever paint they need. And again, if they don't use it all, well, community. That's ideal.
Hopefully, I mean, that's what we're shooting for.
Yes.
Fabrication station. So again, it's going to be some tables. It's going to be some chairs. There's
we will be including heat guns and a Dremel set.
Yep. Heat gun, Dremel set, glue gun. Yep. I think that's
cutting tools, of course.
Yeah, things you use to make your armors. You know, so you know you need
several sets of scissors, different ones for like sheet metal versus like.
And we'll be very specific. The fabric scissors are over here.
Yes.
They will be marked.
This is your.
You will be tested.
Tool. Yes.
We're also like the wig styling.
Yes.
I mean that's very important, and it'll be you'll be able to take that stuff into the ventilation as well when you're using the powerful hairsprays that keep it like the Goku or Vegeta like styles. But we'll have wig stands for you guys to be able to put your wigs on them.
Yeah. And whatever you need, detangler, combs, bobby pins.
Well, we're not going to provide everything, but I'm sure people will donate lots of those things.
Yeah, exactly.
But we have budgeted in our budget 1 3D printer, so there will be a 3D printer on the premises. Like Stephanie said earlier, the next one is to have 2 because we know that if everybody comes in and tries to create, let's say, a Destiny helmet or whatnot, or if they're doing, it's going to be one of those things where we would love to have 2, so there will be multiple people can work on multiple projects.
Yeah. We're also going to have a classroom area, which means we're going to have a projector, TV, the full setup to make sure that people can present, as well as using their TV later on for like entertainment. So why not watch anime while you're making costumes? Yay!
We do want to have community events there too. It's because I think a lot of people can relate to meeting friends and having a really great time when they go to cons. It's not all about making a costume, wearing a costume, posing in the costume. It's community too. So, you know, there's a wide variety of really great suggestions we've received for community building events that we want to host. So stay tuned for those. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and then we had gotten a lot of feedback of the DC Anime Club when we went to see you that they would love to see a, I think they called it cosplay Zumba, like was it cost fitness Zumba?
Fitness,
yeah, like that would be a lot of fun.
Like everyone, let's all get together and do some Zumba to get in shape.
K-pop.
To K-pop. Yeah. We love that idea.
All right, and I just wanted to kind of go back with the sewing stations. We will be having sewing machines there, but there will also be places for you to bring your own sewing machines because we know that, like for myself, I'm kind of like, this is my machine, I want to work. So if you feel like bringing your own machine, you will have somewhere to sit down to put your machine down and bring it. Next one is the basic photography studio.
Yes.
So we will have just the basics, like the green screens. We got a lot of feedback from photographers that they want the black,
green, black, and white.
Yeah.
Those are the three that come in the kit.
Yes. And then stands, basic lighting system. Of course, you can bring your own stuff in if you want. So there's no issues with that at all.
Yeah. And we're really aiming for appropriate height for ceilings so that it's not a cramped space. You have appropriate lighting for your equipment.
Yeah.
And as a stretch goal, we might have nicer, more awesome backgrounds.
Yeah.
So that's
Which would be really cool.
something to look forward to. All right.
For sure.
We do have another question. It's a really good one. Someone asked me at Farpoint if there was going to be a way for people who can't sew to get in touch with people who can to commission work, like an online forum or corkboard with postings or something.
That is an amazing question. And guess what? Yes. The answer is yes.
We actually do have a bunch of plans. It's basically going to be like a couple different ways of how we want to do this. We want to have essentially a commission book, someplace where you can look up the local artists and you can get in touch with local people. We're hoping that anyone that wants to be part of this book will be just listing themselves and say, hey, I can do this and this and this and this. And then anyone who needs that or that or that done can go ahead and look in that book. We'll have an online version as well.
Yeah, because we want to make sure to be able to put it up on the website. You know, it's just kind of like figuring out what's the best way to upload this information. And, you know, we probably, I would think once or bi-monthly, we would print out a copy on the actual in the studio so people can have it, kind of go in and go, I need a skirt. Who makes skirts? So you make a skirt, I'm going to call you.
I need a cake.
But yes.
Oh, something else. So we are going to have computers on the premises. That's another part of our budget, is so that people can go online and look up reference photos and possibly look up the commission catalog and a couple things here and there. Plus use the 3D printer, because you can't really like bring your own computer and be like, hey, here's my desktop and this 3D printer and I'm just going to work on it. No. We'll provide that for you.
And if you are a backer of the Kickstarter, which I hope you all are by now, you may have noticed in one of our recent updates, if you've pledged at least $45 or more, you'll receive a USB bracelet. So if you want to use the computer, you want to use a 3D printer, you can actually bring in your files, plug it in, you're good to go.
Yeah. There is another question. So how many cosplayers do you think will be able to use the space simultaneously? Well, that's a great question. That depends on how big of a space we can get. And that is all on you guys. So how much money we can raise is a very, very big part of this. The more we raise, the bigger our space, and the bigger our space, the more we can have in the space. So while certain things like cutting tables and stands and, you know, things like that can be donated, we still need the space for them. So as long as we have the space for them, I'm sure that the community will come together and we'll have a whole bunch more stuff than what we have budgeted for right now.
Yeah, and, you know, this, again, depends on, you know, just legal maximum capacities.
Yeah, I was going to say fire codes.
Fire codes.
We could fit as many cosplayers as we want. You all been to Otakon. We can fit them in spaces.
Yeah, exactly.
But we have to follow the law for the fire codes.
Yeah. So of course for events and classes, that's a different answer for when we're talking about just people working in the workshop on projects.
So we did get a question on the comments and from Elliot. It says, is there a chat in Google Hangout? So yes, there is. It's on the right side. So, right.
Yeah, if you are participating through Google Hangout instead of just YouTube, then you will be able to actually submit questions through the chat.
Yeah, so I will actually send you that link.
Yep.
I'll send you that pretty link.
Yeah.
So I'll take care of that. That was all the questions we had on YouTube.
So if you are on YouTube, Liz is going to post the link to the chat so that you can ask questions a little more dynamically.
There you go.
And
there you go, Elliot. I have comments.
we will also be checking YouTube from time to time for any questions. Any stray questions that we may have missed.
Cool. So let me see. So what else on? So do your okay, so everyone who's been buying memberships on the Kickstarter, they're like, well, does it start the day that you guys open? We've gotten those kind of questions. Our answer is you may activate your membership within 6 months after we open. So let's say we open July. If you can't be there in July, we're not gonna be like, well, you had your 1 month or your day, so too bad, so sad. No, from the day we open, that starts the clock of 6 months that you have to activate it anytime. So because we want you guys to use the space, and we're not gonna pressure you to do it right then. But yeah. So any more questions up there? No? Yeah. All right, so a lot of people have been asking, because once we added the plushie, everyone's kind of like, how do I add the plushie? Well, it's easy. If you've selected a reward, all you do is go back in and you add that extra 35 for like the plushie or whatever reward that you're doing. So let's say you did $10, a $10 reward. If you want an additional reward, you just go in and add that extra money and then send us a message on Kickstarter saying, I've just added this extra money and this is the second reward that I want. We also will be sending a survey, so if you have done that, you've never sent us a message, don't worry. But at the very end of the Kickstarter, we're sending out the survey saying, hey, you have additional money. Either that was just because you wanted to give us more money, or if you had another reward, please let us know so we can get you that second reward.
And if there's one of those rewards that has a limited quantity assigned to it, please choose the one that is the limited quantity as your basic one, and then add the value of the non-limited one on top of that. And again, just let us know. You want all of the rewards, just let us know.
Well, at this point, I think it's a little too late. There's a few sold out ones.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was hoping to get one too. Too bad.
I know. I was like, well, if no one wants to buy these things, I will.
And then you went like in a day, and I was like, what happened?
It went pretty fast.
So the last one on our FAQ is people were asking like, well, why haven't you selected a space yet or a location yet? Well, we have selected whatever our budget will do. We've looked at Rockville, we've looked at Fairfax. Where else did you guys go? Falls Church, Tyson's Corner. It's the DC area.
Was there one in nope,
Beltsville? I'm looking at Beltsville.
Yeah,
yeah, we have been looking all over the place, but try to imagine for a moment, we're an organization who's crowdfunding our first year. So we, of course, are empty-handed until we can get the full funding, right? So we absolutely must have the funding already established before we can pay for a space. Do you see what I mean? So we want to make sure that we can afford a space before we go ahead and start renting an empty space that we can't even start using until we get through this stage of the process.
Because we had found a bunch of places that we were like, this is perfect, but it would have been irresponsible of us 3 months ago to have put our own money down to buy a month, and then, the Kickstarter, something happens, and then we're out. We're in a year lease of something we're going to have to break.
Yeah.
So, it just financially didn't make sense this time.
Yeah, and we of course also want to make sure it's clear. We've always been extremely confident that this was going to fund. We believe in this very strongly. We know this is something that the cosplay community needs, and that a large group of people want to get behind this. And you've really shown us that we put our faith in the right place. At the same time, what if we underestimated what we were going to be able to get and went ahead and rented a small space, and then everybody
Kickstarter was
blew
like-
our minds with like
Exactly.
stretch goals, and we could have gone ahead and gotten a much bigger place. Well, cart before the horse, you know how it goes. So we appreciate everybody's patience and understanding with that. It's not that we don't take this seriously. It is the opposite. Because we take this so seriously, we want to do this right the first time.
Right, and we're very particular. We really want it to be metro accessible. We really do want it to be handicap accessible. We have a vision of what the space that we want, and we want it to be something that you can easily get to. And parking, you know, and everyone knows in the DC area, it's like when somebody says, well, you only get 2 parking spaces and there's nothing else. Well, we're not going to pick that because there's only 2.
Yeah.
It's like, but
we want good ventilation, and if it's not already in place, we want to have scalability so that we can add that before we open. We want to be in a safe neighborhood. We don't want anybody coming to our workshop feeling like they need to bring mace with them. That's a horrible thought. We don't want that at all. We want this to be a good place.
And we've seen places like that, and we're like, and no.
it's like, walk away, pull out pepper spray.
Yeah.
Like, this is not going to happen.
All right, another question. So when is the grand opening, or approximate time frame for the grand opening?
Mid to late summer would really be our goal.
Yeah, because what happens to happen between now and the grand opening, we need to go ahead and find the place. Again, we've been looking actively, but we don't have something signed yet. We have to go ahead and sign a lease, put down a deposit. That's out of the way. We need to start equipping the shop.
Cleaning it too.
We need to clean it. We need to set it up. We need to paint it. We need to.
We have to put a wall up for an extra
Put up the
ventilation wall.
ventilation.
We're going to have to do that ourselves.
Yeah,
We're gonna have to do construction. We're gonna have to
We have to outfit this place
Yep.
for our needs. Okay, so now we get through that process. Now I think we are almost ready to open. We need security. We need a computer system so that we can actually like schedule calendar events. We can manage memberships, manage membership payments. There's a whole lot of stuff that goes into this. So we're going to be on fire to get this done as quickly as possible, because this should not be a secret, but we want to use this space too. We are cosplayers.
And we're hoping to get this done before the end of the summer, so that some of the bigger conventions that are at the end of the summer, people can still use that space for those conventions at least sometime this year.
Yeah.
Because after Otakon and DragonCon, there's really not too many conventions that are, you know,
There's a
until
few,
the next
but
year.
The big ones are at the end of the summer.
I mean, yeah, there's Baltimore Comic-Con. There's a few like in between.
Anime USA.
And, yeah.
Anime
Anime USA. And that's a Halloween this year, so I'm just ecstatic. I can go to the Metro and everything. But so we have any other questions there? If not, we had Spirit Kitten on YouTube said, maybe I missed on the site, but where exactly is the space located? Well, we don't have a space just yet. That's what the Kickstarter is for, to get the budget, which we went before, but I just want to make sure I acknowledged your question.
Yeah, but the short answer to recap is that we're looking for a space that's safe, metro accessible, adequate space, and is in somewhere. We're hoping for the Beltway in the DC area. I mean, if it ends up being like just outside of Maryland, or if it's right in the middle of DC or in Northern Virginia, that remains to be seen. But we really wanted to have maximum accessibility for all the cosplayers in the area. It's really going to depend on the funding.
Yes.
Yep. And we do have another question. No, we have not covered this yet. Well, I mean, we have, but not in this video. So what are your plans for repair stations at conventions?
Yay!
Well, if you guys saw us out at Katsucon, you would see the first prototype of our repair station.
It went so well. It was a really big hit. And of course, next time we're going to be sure to make sure the maximum number of people at the convention are aware. But we had popular used items were, I think, the glue gun, super glue, duct tape, Velcro, wig styling, like some people needed to fix some things.
Some sewing, on-site sewing.
Lots of
Put
sewing.
a lot of buttons on a jacket.
A lot of sewing.
I sewed a very big grip
Oh yeah, poor Spider-Man.
Oh.
We had a first aid kit too, so
We did.
But yeah, we're hoping to go to as many conventions as possible that we can get a booth and be offering this to people at the booth. I mean, it was very popular at KatsuCon, so, and it's free of charge. It's for the community, so.
Yep. So we're hoping that, you know, this is where volunteers could come in and they could donate some time at the booth, help other cosplayers with repairs, anything that you guys want to donate for the like little repair station. That's also very, very helpful. With a lot of these conventions, because we're a nonprofit and because it is like a community thing, these booths are a lot cheaper for us versus, you know, some other organizations. And we've been trying to use that to really get out there and do the outreach in the community.
yeah, it's not always possible. Sometimes this is, you know, if we want a space, we're going to have to come up with $1,200.
Yes.
So,
We've been lucky so far.
yeah, so of course, donations are always really appreciated. But wherever we can be, we will be.
Yeah, and people should also, just getting on the convention part, that, you know, being a member of Studio Cosplay, when you're going to convention, you know, conventions have group rates. So that's something we would love to implement, being able to do a Studio Cosplay membership group rate, and you guys can save money going to conventions. And I'm sure with people who volunteer for us too, they'd be put in that bucket who wants to help us at the table and panels and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yep.
And some of the conventions that are upcoming, we plan to attend, if you're not already aware. We're going to be at Sakura Matsuri on April 11th, the Japanese Street Festival in Washington, D.C. We'll have a tent there. We're going to be at Capitol Con DC. We're going to be at Awesome Con, of course. The new one that we just found out about, Creator Con.
Creator Con.
Yeah.
There's that one, and there's also SpartaCon has asked us to get a table. We're studying. That when you have to start buying tables, it's kind of like we'll call you.
We want to
We
go
really want to go.
We do want to be everywhere, but it is, of course, an expense to us. I mean, I can't reiterate enough. We are a nonprofit.
Yes.
Not one dime of this is going into any of our pockets at all. Whatever funding we ever raise through any needs goes straight back into the workshop. It goes straight back into offering you guys the best cosplay makerspace we can possibly do. And it goes to appearances. It goes to just our own administrative costs. We don't keep any of this. So all the help we can get, we always appreciate. And I think we might have another question.
Is that the same one?
What does your con schedule look like for the rest of the year? Oh,
Yeah.
Well, kind of.
Well, beyond
Look at that.
Awesome Con, I'm also going to Gen Con. Hopefully I'll be presenting a panel there. We'll have to see, but I'll be there. We always go to Dragon Con.
Yeah, we'll all be there. We're not sure, like, with panels or
we may
booths
not
or
have
anything,
a booth,
but we will be
per se,
there.
but all of us will be there.
And we will have fun.
And we're going to be having a really great time with the generous backer who actually chose the Dragon Con pledge reward. So that person is going to Dragon Con.
We are taking him to Dragon Con.
Yeah,
That
pretty much.
We are providing him with a room and tickets, and we are providing him with partying.
Yes, he will have to
Yes.
get himself there, but otherwise, we are providing the Dragon Con experience, so we'll be there. I'm really, really hoping to be able to go to BlizzCon again this year. Of course, that's not a place really for repairs or panels, but I hope to be able to see some of our members there and some of our fans and say hello and hang out. That's just the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot of like more local, smaller cons that we're hoping to make it to as well. So I don't know if you know somebody who runs a con and it's not necessarily something that we might be aware of, please let us know. Again, we want to be everywhere. We really do.
Yeah, yeah. And it's not necessarily like us physically. We want Studio Cosplay. So if someone is going to a convention and this is something that, you know, Studio Cosplay can have a presence at, then we would love to have you guys reach out to us and be like, hey, I'm going to this and I want to do this for Studio Cosplay, and we'd be happy to work with you.
Cool. So Cosplay in America on Twitter asked, what about ACBC in Atlantic City? That I just clicked the link and that looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it does.
But
So maybe.
yeah, I'll have to check that out. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, thanks for the suggestion. All of the cons.
Yes. So those were all of our FAQs we already went through.
Great.
And We have like 20 minutes to answer any questions that you guys have. Well, 15,
17-ish.
17.
Right in the middle.
Something good.
So just let us know. What do you guys want to see in the space? What kind of workshops would you guys like to see? I'd love to hear that because we've had so many people come forward who want to teach.
We should talk about all the different teachers that we have so far.
Yeah, we should.
All right, so definitely sewing classes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
There's been a few people that have reached out that they're like, oh, I definitely want to teach a sewing class. We've approached Bill Duran of Punished Props.
Yes.
He's willing to maybe do something like teach a class. We'll fly him out here and he can teach us all about how to make foam weapons and foam armor and his amazing, amazing stuff. I know we're sold out on his books, but I just got to push them anyway. They are fantastic, so awesome. They make foam armor smithing so easy. So I really want to take his class, so I really want this workshop so I can have him over here and we can take this class all together.
For sewing, I had reached out to, he's one of my favorite cosplayers in the world, Joshua Hart.
Oh, yeah.
And I had brought Studio Cosplay up to him and I was kind of like, hey. And he had shown interest in the email of possibly coming down from New York to teach a class. So who knows, but he showed interest in the email and we appreciate him even, acknowledging. So he's my favorite, I swear.
Yeah, and if you're not familiar, go find him on social media. He is the most gorgeous cosplayer I have ever seen. I'm so jealous. Like, you look way more glamorous than I ever have.
But his Facebook page is J Hart Design, so check him out. I live on his page every day. No, he's doing Cinderella, I think, and I'm just dying. I'm sorry.
So we've also had people reach out to teach leather working.
Yes.
So both sewing up costumes and actually doing like the full-on pauldrons and armor.
Yeah.
We've had someone reach out for to teach all kinds of electronics, like from beginning to end. They have their own books published, all about those things, DIY electronics.
Somebody suggested chainmail. I think that would be kind of cool to learn.
Chainmail.
Yeah, we've had some SCA members come forward saying that they would love to teach kind of like Renaissance garb and on chainmail. Yeah. And some Joanne Fabrics teachers have come up to us saying they'd love to teach a little class like on making an apron. You'll bring your own kind of like nerdy fabric in if you want or whatever, and they'll show you how to make an apron, kind of a workshop. I thought that was really cool. I'm gonna make a Loki one.
Something you can wear to keep the paint off your clothes when you're working in Studio Cosplay's makerspace. Yeah. And there's a wide variety of subjects that we have a good deal of experience on that we're more than happy to share with people. So I think we have another question.
We do. So what would each of you personally most want to use the space for?
Sabrina
wants to not burn her carpet anymore.
Yeah.
Sabrina's our vice president, and she is unfortunately not here. But
She'll be on tomorrow.
Yeah, she will be on our event tomorrow. But she kind of burned her pork carpet using a heat gun.
More than once.
More than once.
Yeah.
For me, I live like I keep reiterating, I live in a very small apartment, but I have a balcony that I can paint on, but it's ridiculously cold outside, and I do a lot of painting. I do a lot of armor making now. I've gotten into that, including the sewing, but I would love the ventilation area for me and being able to paint inside so I don't have to freeze is kind of like a huge plus for me. Like I will, no matter where this is, I will be there. But yeah, that for me, I really want that ventilation.
That's a big deal. Yeah. I'm looking forward to not sitting on the floor anymore. I was really spoiled in my house in New Jersey. I recently moved to the DC area last year, and I had a garage with a workshop, and I had tools, I had places to plug things in, I had excellent lighting, I had, of course, if I needed to lay something out very large, I had plenty of space for it, ventilation, you name it. I was spoiled. I have none of that here. So I've been kind of just sitting on the floor, and I'm not as young as I look. It's very painful. I end up walking around like old gray mare. She ate what she used to be. By the time Dragon Con rolls around, I'm just like in a ball. It's not fun. So I'm really looking forward to actually having stations to work at where you know, and people to collaborate with. I really like the sharing aspect of co-creation. That's a lot of fun.
That's actually what I was going to say. I want to have that collaborative environment in the classes and the workshops so that like I can reach out and I can be like, hey, I really want to workshop on this. I'm going to submit that to Studio Cosplay and be like, hey, if there's enough people that have this interest, then guess what? We're going to bring someone in that knows how to do these things and that they're going to teach a class on them. And I'm definitely going to be taking a lot of those classes and being like, hey, I know how to do something new now. Yeah.
Because we are always learning, all of us. There is not one cosplayer in the universe that knows everything.
Nope.
So it is really, really exciting to know that when we get this open and when the community comes in and kind of Vulcan mind meld, so to speak, we are greater than the sum of our parts. We are raising the bar on DC's caliber of cosplay. I'm excited.
Yes. And with talking about the workshops, I want to reiterate, and I know we've said it before in the past, that we don't want to dictate classes to people. Like, we're only teaching this month 101 sewing classes. We really want the community to come in and say, hey, I want to learn about LED. So then we can start scouting LED instructors and saying, this is something the community has asked, and here's a class. So continue to message us and let us know what you would like to learn so we can put that in our notes and say, because we already have a huge note of people already saying, this is exactly what I want. But continue to tell us so we can make sure we get instructors for exactly what you would like to learn.
Yeah, I mean, we've gotten feedback for like people looking about how to make masks. It's very specific. There's been a lot of guys that are like, you know, I can't seem to find very much out there in the way of male cosplay centric classes. A lot of it assumes females. Now I do want to learn to sew, but can we have more guy stuff? Absolutely. We want more guy stuff. I want more guy stuff.
Exactly.
Not frilly stuff.
All right. So another question. Thank you, Robbie. I know that you guys are probably going to answer depends on the money we raise, which actually that is the answer. But would you like to rent out lockers to people so that they can store or work on site?
Yes, and we said it earlier, but one of our stretch goals is storage in a unit and what we can afford on the space. Because if the space is a reasonable size, but the lockers are going to take up too much room away from the other tables, then it's just not going to be conducive for what we need. But like you said, depends on the funds. That's really the answer.
Yep. And before you ask it, and before April asks it, we are looking to see if we can do some sort of like a space where it's kind of like a free-for-all. So if there is like a big dye job, there would be enough space to dye all of your fabric and have it hang and let it dry. So I know April wants that, so I'm letting you know now. Again, depends on the space, depends on how much money we raise, but that is something that we are considering putting in there at least, you know, and hopefully April can maybe even teach classes on how to dye stuff.
That would be fun. So we have a little less than 10 minutes. I think we can field a few more questions and suggestions.
Nothing on YouTube or Twitter.
Okay.
Come on, guys, ask questions.
Okay. Yeah, but so tomorrow night, if you want to come back.
Quick.
Oh, yes. Well, if you want to come back for tomorrow night, or if you're watching a replay of this and you weren't able to join us tonight, but you do have burning questions or some suggestions, we're going to be doing this again tomorrow night from 8 to 9 Eastern as well. And again, we're going to have Ashby Photography talking about her perspective.
And she's donated, she donated 5 photo shoots. So we have only 3 left of those, but she will be giving, that's a reward. So you want to check that out, have a photo shoot with her. So she's very invested in Studio Cosplay, and we appreciate it.
Yep, and we'll have Frog Dice talking a little bit more about what they do and about the Frog Dice reward on our Kickstarter.
So I did get a question on YouTube.
Great.
And Spirit and she says, I actually just pledged for a 6-month membership. Thank you.
Thanks.
Will you guys or someone be there in order to help me? Not necessarily in a class, because I have always had trouble with armor, helmets, and wings. Well, that's the beauty of Studio Cosplay. We're really hoping that people, you know, it's like we said, it's a collaborative effort that you sit there and go, hey, I'm terrible at wings, and I know I really want to do like a Tinkerbell, and I'm going to kind of poke at somebody and go, hey, have you ever made wings before? And then people will be able to, you just ask questions and whatnot, and then let us know if you want to learn wings. We're definitely can get an instructor out there who is a specialist on that and come in and teach a class.
Yeah, and you know, we have, of course, like, you know, we'll have the means for the community to communicate. So if you know you're going to be in the shop on a sort of particular night and you need a hand, let the community know. Somebody, a member of Studio Cosplay, one of ourselves, who knows, can probably come in and work with you. Who knows? They might be working on a similar project and you guys can work on yours together.
All right. So, question: favorite anime?
Oh, dear.
Vampire Hunter D. I'm old school. Someday I will roll 63 cosplay that. That's my passionate answer.
Wow, one of us has a favorite anime. That's just like right there. Do you want to go next, or do you want me to go next?
Me, Dragon Ball Z. My car's name's Vegeta. When I went over 9,000 miles, it became a milestone event on Facebook.
Hilarious.
So yeah,
it's been psyched that Dennis cosplayed
I
Vegeta.
did. I was like, oh,
All right. I love a lot of different animes. This is a really, really hard one for me. I think I could probably say, I mean, probably the closest would be like Trigun and Cowboy Bebop. But when it comes to manga, I definitely have some favorites, and that would be Hamayuri Dango, Basara, and my all-time favorite, Battle Angel Alita. I love me, my Gabby.
we just love anime.
We really do. Like, that's my quick answer, but not my only answer. At least that's the PG-13 answer I can provide on this. All right.
Okay.
Next question.
All right. What inspires you, either in cosplay or in general? Might as well end on a high note, right? That's a good one. Yeah.
What inspires you? Characters are very much like me. Like when I cosplay a character, like my favorite one in the world is Commander Shepard, because I feel like our personalities are way too close. But
It's kind of true.
Not the renegade, right, Paragon? It's a lie. But I get inspired by detail on a costume. I'm a very OCD or a CDO, because that's the right order. But when I see something very elaborate, I have to do this just because. Look at all the little trinkets. I love seeing that. So, and I love seeing other cosplayers, and they inspire me. And I see their level of creativity, and I go, wow, I need to attempt this. I think that's for me. You guys?
I'll go next. Sure. I love 3D media. So anything 3D, I absolutely love. Like, I'm a little bit, a little OCD. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. Anyone who knows me kind of knows that about me. So I want to get the costume right. I want to get it right down to the tiniest little details. So I choose costumes that I know that I can do. And that doesn't necessarily mean that I have the skill set to do it. It just means that I will persevere until I get it just right.
Yeah, she's a perfectionist. It's quality over all.
So that's definitely something that I always try to strive for, and I see the passion in everybody else and how amazing other people's costumes are. I'm just like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is wonderful. This makes me want to better my skills and better my creations.
Yeah.
And of course, on the other side, I could be like, oh, hey, people are asking me questions on how to do things. And I can be like, haha, yes, I will show you exactly how to do it, because I spent like 50 hours over here trying to learn how to perfect it. So might as well share my skills.
Yes, why not? Yeah. I'm always inspired by really stunning cosplays that look like the character walked right out of the page or right off the screen. That makes me think like I can't just just do this half-ass. I really, really want to look like that character came to life. And so really I'm inspired by the effort and the detail and the quality and the passion that everybody else puts into it. So so yeah, I just, like, I think about costumes that I want to do in the upcoming year. And some of them I like to try to do something funny, you know, at a particular con. I'll try to do something really, like, beautiful. I'll try to do something, like, really hardcore, you know. But whatever the case, there's always something that I'm really pushing myself to do that continues to raise my own bar.
Awesomeness. She
inspires
me.
Let's go do something.
Right, do for each other. You guys inspire us.
Absolutely.
So a quick 3 things. I wanted to acknowledge George on the YouTube comment. You said you were makerspace in San Antonio, but nothing like Studio Cosplay. 2 things is our long-term goal is really to expand to New York, Atlanta, wherever there is a need, we would love to expand to that area. Also, for your ambassador kind of a program you were talking about, we have partnered up with Rockstar Film Company, who did our Kickstarter video, and they have they're going to be working with us to film our classes, so we can have them available to people. So if they want to purchase the class, they can go, hey, this is a Warbler class or whatnot, and we will have people be able to upload. So that's kind of ambassador of where we can kind of help people learn. That's kind of what we're trying to do now, and so we can actually have a place at that location. Yeah. So second, I mean, we have 1 minute, but right now we are only $890 away from being funded.
Yay!
Oh my God, that's pretty awesome.
So close. Let's get to those stretch goals. Come on. We want more space
to make this money and plus reach our stretch goals. The first one would be the airbrushing. Second one would be the
additional
3D printer, and then we will be publishing the rest of them. So I mean, it's 9 o'clock right now, so we want to just say thank you so much for participating in this. We have another one tomorrow, and it's 8 to 9.
Yeah.
Like I said, Frog Dice and Ashley, and then I know myself, Stephanie, and I think Sabrina will be there.
Sabrina will be here too
next time. So check it again. We're going to have a lot more information. Continue to send us messages on the comments, so or on our Facebook page or whatnot, and we can answer those questions for the next one as well.
Yeah. And before we go, just if you're wondering, like, how can we make this happen? How can we help? Really, we need you to share us everywhere. If there's a human being that you think might not know about Studio Cosplay, fix that in the next 66 hours. Social media, like even Google+, like, just get the word out. We really appreciate that. And if you've been a backer, I think if just a handful of people raise their pledges in the next several hours, we'd be good.
Yes.
And we can start reaching for stretch goals. So.
Yeah, Mike, your answer is we had only the one announced. We officially announced the second one at this event, and we will announce more at the next event. Look at that. We have a plan, Mike.
All right, well, we really appreciate everybody joining and for the great questions and feedback. We really appreciate it. We're very excited about this, and we look forward to hearing more from you tomorrow. Good night,
Thank you, guys.
Reaching